Since Agentforce was announced at Dreamforce this year, all the way to just recently being announced as freemium, it has been the talk of news pages, LinkedIn statuses, videos, and more. And why wouldn't it be? It's Salesforce's answer to a rising global demand for efficiency boosting and cost-saving AI solutions, and a shinier, supposedly more promising reincarnation of Einstein Copilot. So it's here now, and you can give it a go in your very own freemium basis. But what happens when the pricing kicks in? Before we start, we'd like to say a massive thank you to Timo Kovala for writing the post that inspired this video. So, Agentforce's pricing model. According to Timo, there's another power in play that promises to change how companies view Salesforce as an investment. Thus far, Salesforce has relied on a licensing model where customers pay for user licenses from the moment of provisioning. For example, when the platform is made available for use. Using this model, you incur costs even before configuring and adopting the tool in practice. The business value, on the other hand, often comes with a significant delay. Companies must prepare solid business cases and forecasts in advance to justify investments. Agentforce's pricing model is a little different. Earlier this year, Salesforce announced that Agentforce pricing would be conversation-based, differentiating from the standard licensing model or even the consumption model that Data Cloud uses. Salesforce has announced an initial $2 fee per agent conversation, with possible volume discounts where applicable. Basically, this means that every time an employee, partner, or end customer chats with an agent, a fee would be added to your next invoice. While this may seem like a lot, considering the potential volume of these discussions, the idea is to reduce or even eliminate human intervention in the same process. You essentially replace an employee's manual work with the agent doing the same autonomously. This falls into the unit cost side of usage models, rather than concentrating on indirect costs. Conversations have a much closer relationship with a company's value creation processes, through things like selling and customer support, than some other background process or visualization, which are the typical benefits that CRM solutions offer. With Agentforce, the cost is incurred in direct relation to activities that bring future revenue to the company, which is much more prosperous for a business. This means that costs scale as the conversation volume grows, which in turn should have a positive effect on the bottom line. The assumption here is, of course, that autonomous AI agents have to be placed in processes where their added revenue exceeds the $2 conversation cost, which is definitely a topic that needs more discussion. Are you looking for the latest insights to turbocharge your Salesforce instance? We've partnered with IBM for the last few years to launch their State of Salesforce report, an overview on the latest trends in the ecosystem and how they impact your org. This year, the trends that were revealed are definitely not ones to miss, with even more telling insights than last year. I recommend everyone in the ecosystem to read the report, and you can download it for free at salesforceben.com/IBM, or you can click on the link in the comments. Now that we understand that Agentforce's pricing model is different from your industry standard licensing model, does it actually come with any benefits? The short answer is yes. There are a selection of very real and mostly positive business impacts. 3 of the main impacts are a lower barrier to entry, clarity of business cases, and linear cost forecasting. One of the key impacts is that costs are generated alongside usage, not beforehand like with licensing. Let's say that you want to launch a proof of concept for Agentforce. With the conversation-based pricing, you don't have to invest heavily in licensing to do a small-scale test, but can instead launch a single agent and test it in a controlled environment before committing more resources. This should translate to less financial risk and lower barriers to entry for Salesforce customers. Then there's the clarity of the business case, thanks to Agentforce's conversation-based pricing. As a point of comparison, a standard CRM adoption, where business benefits are indirect and KPIs are often difficult to set, with Agentforce the situation is different. You have direct lines to revenue generation, whether it's sales development, representative work, win-back support, or even upselling and cross-selling to customers. Agent conversations have very tangible business outcomes that can be mapped directly to revenue generation or cost savings. Lastly, it must be said that cost forecasting is arguably easier with this conversation-based model. Here you may be rolling your eyes and asking why. Sure, with license fees, you pay a fixed fee in advance for the whole year. However, understanding what licenses to add and when is a huge unknown and must be estimated roughly. With autonomous agents, the cost progression should align linearly with the revenue generated. Forecasting with agents is more akin to sales or churn forecasting rather than calculating ROI, which is indirect and full of assumptions. Watching this video, you may be wondering if this thing about $2 conversations is anything new, and you'd be partially correct. Marketing Cloud engagement users should be familiar with consumption-based pricing by now, and Data Cloud has been using a credit-based system since 2023. Consumption-based pricing does bear similarities with Agentforce's pricing model. For one, both scale with usage volume as your business grows. However, consumption relies on pre-bought credits, whereas conversations are marked for invoicing as they happen. Another key difference lies in the user group. Data Cloud and Marketing Cloud credits are easier to monitor and control, being used by internal teams. In contrast, agents engage with end users, making conversation volumes harder to predict. The focus should be on positioning agents in processes where each conversation either reduces manual work or drives sales and efficiency. When done right, higher conversation volumes shouldn't be a concern, as the value should exceed the unit cost. Consumption-based solutions like Data Cloud and Marketing Cloud are also challenging to track and forecast, with credits spanning categories like data services and storage. Salesforce's digital wallet aims in tracking consumption but doesn't provide a burn rate or credit runway. Conversations, however, have no set limits, reducing the risk of overages but limiting volume control. This lack of control is inherent when deploying autonomous agents, which both operate and incur costs independently. With Agentforce still being a fairly fresh product, there are bound to be questions surrounding what it can do and how it works. Even though we've tried to keep this guide as informative as possible, it could be just a matter of weeks or even days before Salesforce releases some new info on Agentforce's pricing model.